Hello everyone. I'm here. My name is David Rashidov. I'm here with Mike, with auto film specialist from Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. I know a little bit background, your background. You had a car wash business before,
I
and then
still have it. I still have
you
it.
still have it.
I still have one. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the first question I want to know, how did you start the car wash business? What made you to start the car wash business?
I mean, it was something that was affordable and easy. And I just wanted to own a business, and it's something I knew a little bit about. And that was like a passion when I first did it. But I didn't know I was gonna own a business, like a few months in, that was when I was like, damn, I own a business. Now I need to make money, make sure, I can hire people and stuff like that. So I didn't, I just realized, like before I washed cars, I did car stereo, but I did it, like for people's shop, or I probably did it in my parents' yard or something like that. So that's not really a business because it's no overhead really,
Right.
and then that's when, yeah, so that's how I started. And washing cars for 14 bucks.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How did you guys move eventually to window tint, paint protection, vinyl wrap? How did you guys move to that area? What made you decide to move to the new type of businesses?
When I owned the car wash, I didn't make no money when it rained, snow, or the weather was bad. Uh you know um it was just, we didn't make no money because nobody would come get a car wash. And so
Right.
I had to figure out other ways to bring in money. And I added a bunch of, little services. I added windshield repair, windshield replacement. I don't Windshield repair, we do it in-house, but windshield replacement we sub it out. At that
Mm-hmm.
time we sub out window tinting. I always sub out window tinting. um
Mm-hmm.
so we can make some money when it's not raining. We generate some type of income,
Right.
and then I just felt like everything I added was still not enough to keep me afloat. I was always worried because sometimes it rained for 3 4 days in Houston in a row, and we had to close down,
Oh, wow.
because you
Yeah.
just don't make no money when you wash cars. Like nobody want to
Right.
get the car washed. um so everything I was adding, and I did everything myself. So and everything I was adding, uh it just wasn't enough. So in 2006 I got into paint protection film, and I
Oh,
used to do like, I think probably about 3 a month, 3 to maybe 6. Not
installation.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because at that time it was still new, so I didn't do much. Wholesale, I was doing it for 450, and that was the amount of money, because I was doing window tint real cheap, 125, 150 at that time. I didn't know too much of, I'm new to the business. And
Right.
and I look at paint protection film, and it's a $650 ticket. It will help me out,
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've never done enough for it to make money. But there's one thing about me: once I do something, I stick to it. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people will, if it's not successful, if it's not busy, or if they run into a brick wall, they'll stop it. I just never done that to anything I ever did. If I'm gonna dig a hole, I'm gonna dig the hole. You know,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of what took me here. I mean, for many years, I say like 2011, we did a little bit more paint protection film. But when I say a little bit more, it was still maybe 6 or 8. 2014 was when it kind of changed, where we did more. Um, and then backflash. So in 2008, I started learning how to do window tint because I used to hire window tinters, and
Mm-hmm.
I always had problems. They were using drugs. Sometimes they don't show up to work. Sometimes whatever. And I was always held hostage by my window tinter. And when I
Yeah.
say, as a business owner, you never want to be held hostage. People, if you're held hostage, you don't really know it. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared to lose that window tinter, or I'm scared, even if he did a shitty job, I'm scared because the customer already made the appointment. I already took the money. I gotta make sure, they do it. So you know, the one that the day that it broke me that I need to learn window tinting was the tinner. He had his girlfriend and they were smoking something. I know it was drug. It was either crack or meth in the
Something,
corner.
right?
Yeah. So I walked by and I just ignored it because I need that car finish. And
Right.
after that day, I said, after that, after that day, I said, we're not gonna do window tint no more. We just have too many problems with these guys, right? So in
Right.
2008, I started doing window tinting and I got pretty good. I got decent like 2010, 2011. My partner, my friend Rob with Next Level Tint, he you know, I went ahead and spent 2 weeks with him and he's a mobile tinner. And I was like, man, I need to learn this faster because I'm learning it so slow, you know.
Yeah.
And that's when I became a window tinner. And then you know, I created the technique for crystalline in 2010 to shrink it in 2 minutes compared to
Oh,
like 30, 45 minutes.
wow.
Because I was always battering, and you know, I was forced to be a window tinner. I didn't want to be a window tinner. But if you ask me what I like more, I like window tinting more than paint protection film. You know,
You
that's
enjoy
what
it
I
more. You enjoy doing it.
no, that, and because the customer expectation is not that high.
Okay.
Because so when we put on paint protection film, you know, the car got to come out perfect, more better than what it came out the showroom floor. Window
Right.
tint, we're allowed to have some imperfection and you don't see it. Customer don't complain and stuff like that, you know?
Yes. Yeah. So in 2014, you said there was a big change when your PPF business increased.
Yeah, because you start getting like more daily driver that get it. Before we only did like really expensive car, like Porsches and anything that's higher. And 2014, the education level. And I'm saying that because I'm in Houston, Texas, so we're a little bit behind from California, Denver. I mean, from Colorado, Denver. Colorado sell the most paint protection film in the United States from what from the research that they tell me. Um, you know, in California, you guys in LA, y'all do a lot more. Y'all have more exotic than us, so y'all gonna have more cars. So and I'm speaking of Houston, Texas. I started seeing, you know, Toyota Camry getting paint protection film, which I'll never think they get it because usually when you see somebody get paint protection film, the car costs, you know, over 100,000, 200,000 at least, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So the demographic change now today. I do paint protection film on a car that costs like 28,000. And
Yeah.
they're spending like 4 to 7,000 on it. I'm like very surprised, you know, like that's like more than 25% of what the car costs, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like window tint, you know, same thing with window tint. It took probably 10 years for guys to start doing ceramic tint to get that kind of money. Cause before they ceramic tint been around, but they still don't add it to their shop. You know, business owner won't add it because it's too expensive. Customer won't pay for it. That's what they got in their mind. But and that's why they don't care. And then all of a sudden, guys like me, because we've been doing it, we've been charging $1,000 for winter tent since 2010. Guys like me, you know, we paved the way for other tenders to make that kind of money now. Now everybody wanna do ceramic tint. They're charging 500. You know, $500 back in 2010 was unheard of. Like a lot of people couldn't get that. You know, they can't
Right.
get that for window tint. And now they're getting that with their eye closed, you know?
Yes. Yeah. So what was the transition? You said in 2010 you were charging $1,000 for a window tint. So at that time it was premium price, right?
So
Because what was
so
it
that
like your
time
mindset? How did you come up like you said, that's what I'm gonna charge. You didn't afraid that
I didn't.
customers did.
It wasn't me.
Yeah,
I would want to take, you know, I mean, I take a little bit credit for it, but most of the credit came from 3M. So I used to carry Solar Guard, right?
yeah,
And then after Solar Guard, you know, Suntech was like everybody want to carry Suntech, so I carry Suntech. At that time, I don't know nothing about film. You know, when I tell you I don't know nothing about film, let me pull out a chart. Like,
yeah,
you know how the heat rejection, like all this,
yes,
like so I don't know nothing about film. I just thought, you know, you sell window tint for $100, 180. That's it. I didn't know that they were good films. So 3M came to my shop and they could not sell crystalline to anybody in Houston. Like nobody would buy it. So they say, Mike, you're the only shop that could do it, because they saw my shop. I had a like a really nice setup during that time, and then they look at it, and the clientele that we had was a little bit higher. They said, you know what, this guy is probably the only one. So they made me a deal. They gave me a free roll for free. That's like, they gave me like almost $2,000 worth of stuff. So they gave me a free roll. They gave me a heat lamp. They gave me a display board. They even tinted my windshield. And they said this film is clear. And that's the first time I ever seen a clear film. I know there was Air 80 before that, but I never did that.
Yeah.
I did Air 80 before, but I never did it before that. So I was like, and then they told me to sell it for 500. I was like, man, you fucking crazy. So before that, I just told them. They came, like, that's the third time, so I said yes to it. But before that, I was like, man, I'm not selling film for 500. Nobody's gonna buy that shit. So I told them, no, that's not gonna happen. They came back again, and then they came back with second guy. So now they got two guys, and they said, you could do this. I said, no, this nobody's gonna buy film for 500. Nobody. No, y'all crazy. So.
Right.
And then they brought corporate over. So they came back again the third time with three guys now. And they said, Mike, this is what, and then that's when the story, I said, look, we're going to give you the roll for free. So I had nothing to lose. They gave me the roll for free. They gave me a heat lamp. They gave me a display board. Like, there was nothing to lose. Because the first two times I would have to buy everything,
Right. Yeah.
And I wasn't going to buy a roll of film for $1,200. That's insane. I'm buying a roll of film for like $100 something dollars. How are you going to charge me, 12 times on a roll? So I just didn't believe it. So that one row, I have a manager, and he was really good. He's still coming around. And they said to sell a car for 500 and to sell a windshield for, I think, 250 at that time. And I was like, man, you know what? See if you can sell it. I like the heat lamp display. We're gonna keep it. I like that. We got the roll. If it don't work out, they said we could have everything.
Right. Yeah.
So and then my manager sold that roll in 1 week. I couldn't believe it.
In 1 week.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the clientele that we had, I didn't know it. They were educated. So these guys would do the research, and they're educated. And we carry a product that does demand that kind of money. Crystalline is not cheap. And then they look up 3M crystalline. Like, nobody can sell 3M crystalline for $200 or $300. You'll be upside down. And we had like a lot of BMW client, Audi client, and then they bought it, and I was like, what the hell? You sold that shit in 1 week? We made almost 5,000, 4,000 or 5,000 off that one box. And I called them. I called 3M. Clay is my rep at that time, and then I said, hey, Clay, we sold that box. We need another box. He's like, what? Y'all sold that box in 1 week? He couldn't believe it either, because at that time it's I think Crystalline came out in like 2008, but so I couldn't believe it, and that's what got me up there. And the mindset wasn't there yet, and then now it built it because we saw everybody was buying it. So that's why I say I can't take all credit for it, because if that scenario did not happen, I might not be here. I mean, I might not be able to. I might sell $1,000 window film today, not back then.
Right. Yeah. What about PPF? Were you always selling at a premium, or it also took you a minute to get to that level, like price wise?
No, I sold everything cheap. I started off just like everybody else. I sold everything at a really cost price. The mindset of everybody when they open a business, and I have that same mindset too. I don't have that mindset now. The mindset is to open a business and be cheaper than everybody. I'm gonna beat his price. That's the mindset of opening a business, because you think of volume. You think, oh, I'm gonna have like a bunch of cars. I'm gonna be the cheapest. That's why my car wash was $14. It was cheaper than everybody else. Everybody was 15.
Yeah.
And that kind of work against you, because your growth is only work so slow. Instead of going like this, you're going like this. And then you're always wanting to get more cars, because more cars equal more money. Well, if now I don't look at it like that, more cars don't equal more money. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you got the skill level of knowing how to sell, you don't need more cars. You just need the skill level. Because that car now I could get 10, 12,000 because I'm selling PPF, I'm selling ceramic coating, I'm selling window tint, I'm selling wheel off, I'm gonna sell everything. Because before, if you want window tint, I never knew how to sell PPF. I never knew to do that. I'll just, okay, you want window tint, 2 front window, okay. If you only want 2 front window, I only sell you 2 front window. I didn't know how to sell that side back glass, you know. Now
Right.
I
Yeah.
sell it really good. I'll be like, do you have any kids or loved one that you put back there? Because that's not window tint back there. That's privacy glass. You know, we're
Right.
better now, but we didn't know that back then. And that's why I wish there was somebody like me to give me advices, to mentor me or to coach me back then, because I would have got here a long time ago, you
Yeah.
know. I just
Yeah.
I like just the help from 3M to give me a free box of crystalline, you know, that's $1,200. I wouldn't buy that back then.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
buy that all day now, but I didn't I just didn't I didn't see that. And you know, looking back, I'm like, man, you know, you've grown up a lot. You know, I wish I would take the same me and bring me back to to
Right.
2000. I don't know. I think it would, because you know there was nobody teaching us. There was no Facebook like groups. Uh,
Groups. Yeah.
you know, there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of, yeah, right now. I mean, that's why I tell everybody. I mean, I say like, guys, y'all pretty lucky, because back then we used to use 3M PPF. It's only one. And you know, after that, it went to Venture
Yeah.
Shield. But it was only one, and the film was yellow, and we had to use a steamer. We 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 didn't know what we are doing. We didn't edge wrap.
Right.
I didn't know how to edge wrap back then. I didn't know you're supposed to edge wrap. I just do the film, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So you know, I just wish there was you know, like somebody like us. But now the guys that are getting in this industry, they have, you know, their learning curve is a lot less than us, a lot less
Right.
challenging than us, you know. And
Right.
and,
So
and it's good. And that, you know, that's the reason why I'm always like very helpful, because you know the success that I got is something, you know, you want to share it with everybody else, and help everybody else do that too. And plus it feel good, you know, when people ask me questions and then they come back, man, Mike, thank you very much. I mean, you helped me a lot. And you know, just getting that pat in the back all the time, it just make you feel like really, really, you know, good.
that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Like percentage wise, window tint, ceramic coating, and PPF, what is like your majority of the business?
Man, I say window tint and PPF is almost this. Not, you know, PPF is a little bit more, but window tint is almost the same. Ceramic coating, you know, the if you're talking about money wise, you know, the ceramic coating, the ticket is a little bit less. So we try to add it on to every paint protection film package. My guys do a really good job on it. Window tint, we do really, really good. And the reason why the number are pretty close is because, you know, our window tint for a Tesla is 1700, for I think a Model Y, I think is about 2200. And then you know, Model X get into like 2800. And we do a lot of Tesla, and 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 you know, our ticket average, I always say 1,000, but it's actually always more than that. I just don't want to say more, then the guys be
Right.
like, yo, you're crazy, you're not getting more than that. We do,
Yeah.
you know. That's the reason why. So a lot of people think, when they think of window tint, like shops don't want to add window tint because they always think $99, you know. And
Yeah.
and when you think that way, that's why they don't. But we actually do really, really, really good on tint, because you know, we could do one of my guys can do 4 to 6 cars a day, just depending. If they add a windshield, then they only could do like, you know, 3 or 4, you know. but
Right.
but if they don't add the windshield, but we're always adding windshield. So you know, you'll have like 4 cars, like 3,
Right.
4.
How many tinters do you have?
We have 3, and then with me is 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So
help out whenever we have to help out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You just help them out whenever you can.
Uh-huh.
So as I understand, marketing has to do a lot in your business. so that you can separate yourself in the market. What do you think, in Houston, what separates your company from the competition? How do you separate yourself and how do you charge
We
the premium
so
price?
I mean, I always tell everybody like your sales process have to be so strong. It's the center of everything. If your sales process is not strong, you can't keep your guys busy and you can't hire more people. And if you can't, if your sales process is not strong, you can't do marketing because you're throwing that money away.
Right.
Because all that lead come in and it come in fast. I mean, if you're hiring a real company, a real successful marketing company for our industry that's gonna bring you a bunch of lead, you got to know how to handle that. And then and a lot of people don't, so they're not strong at it. So they get all these leads, and then some of them might not answer it in time. Some of them don't answer it. Some of them don't know what to do with it, and some of them they cherry pick it. So you have to have your sales process have to be so strong before you market. If your sales process is not strong, you should not market. Period.
Right. Yeah. So what do you think is the hardest part in your business, like in your journey, like starting a business, running a business? What is the hardest part for you? What you feel like it was?
The business side is
Yeah.
the business side because it's so much little pieces to the business side that there's a bunch of it that I don't know how to do. I have to hire somebody to do it. And then there's stuff that you can't do. Like you have to hire you have to hire a firm to do it, or you got to hire a person to do it. That's the hard part that they don't teach you, because nobody teach you about accounting, that you got to pay franchise tax, that you got to you got to have a bookkeeper, a CPA, you got to just a bunch of rules and laws. And you got to have I have to have a sign permit for this place. I have to have a sewage permit. I have to have like different license and permit, and they don't tell you none of that. And all those stuff are learning curves. Like
Right.
you never done that before. Like you have to go and fill out some stuff, and some of those stuff you don't know how to fill out. You got to pay somebody. Yeah. So that's why it's a hard part, because everything got to be done right. Because if it's not done right, it affect you many years later, or it might affect you like it might affect you months later, but most of the time it's years later. Like,
Right.
I got bills from the tax office, because when you own a computer, own a sign and stuff, you got to pay property tax to the county.
Right.
I didn't know that, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
I'm hit up with like $7,000 worth of tax because I never paid it. So it's just a bunch of stuff, rule regulation, handling payroll, stuff like that.
Payroll.
I didn't know how to do payroll. I used to just write you a check and I'll give to you. I didn't know that. And then later on they're like, hey, you either gotta do a W-9 or you gotta do a W-4. I didn't like stuff like that. I learned. It's just so much learning curve.
Yeah.
And it's still always learning on that. Like the installation side, I just think it's the easiest part. It's so easy for me to install, and then to train and everything else. But the business side is just always ongoing. It's just never gonna stop.
Yeah. So we
Yeah,
always say to our students as well, when they learn installation, it's only a small part of the business side, and about 60-70% is knowing the business, how to do it,
yeah,
because they can be the best installers, but they also need to know the business size.
yeah.
And so if someone is starting, our students, if they're starting a business, what advice, what do you think, what advice you give them to start doing or stop doing? Like what they should start doing when they start a business, or what they should
But
not do?
when they start a business, I mean, the first thing you want to do is get an LLC.
Right.
The permit and license, it just depends what city and state you're in. I know California, y'all got a lot of stuff going on, and Texas is a lot easier. But that's what you want to do first, and then after you do that, I would highly recommend investing in a website. You have to. If you don't the website is the new yellow page. I mean white page.
Yes.
You know, how back in the days you have a white page. If you're not back in the days, if you did not have, if you was not in a white page, you didn't really have a business. You know, because
Right.
all business, even if you wasn't successful, you still put you paid to put yourself in there. That was
To be in the book. Yeah.
directory.
Right.
So
In the,
the website will actually take you far. And when they do a website, I highly recommend that they hire a good firm to do a website, because I used to make all my own websites. So website or different, because you know, there's SEO involved in website. So there's
right.
like 100 different companies you could go and pay, you know, $10-20 a month, and you can make your own website. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's good, but I mean, that's something better than nothing. But I wouldn't do that, because if they actually want to take themselves really quick, hire a firm to do it. They're gonna charge you about anywhere from 3,500 to 5,500 to do it, and they'll do the SEO back of it. But you have to be careful with website, and I learned this later on. You have to get what, like, WordPress is probably like, you have to get with WordPress, and you gotta get with a few different website platform to
Yeah.
make sure Google can actually read it. Because right now, you can go to Wix. Like I used to use Wix, and I still believe in Wix. I mean, it's better having a website, even if it's bad or good. It don't matter. It's still better than not having a website, you know. And
Right.
and so, you know, my my downfall is, you know, I wanted to do everything myself, and I created my website for many years. I still do. And then this was the first year I just stopped doing it. I just gave it to a company to do it. And man, if you search us, we're number one, number one, number one. What what Wix and a few site, Google don't really understand it to put you up there, because it's trying
Right.
to read that page, but the language, you know, it's just like you speak another language, it's not understanding it. So that's
Mhm.
why you won't ever be on top. So you got to know all that to take you for to advance you. If you're going to open your own business, the first thing is LLC, and then a really good website, but pay up a professional to do it. It's a one-time cost, so it's
Right.
actually not expensive. If you
Yeah.
divide, if I were, so I paid how much I paid? I think I paid $5,500 for one of my website. If I buy that, you know, by 10 years, that's nothing. You know, you gotta look at that,
Right.
because you want to be in business for the next 10, 20 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What is the best advice you receive, Mike? What is the best advice you receive so you can use it in your business? What was the advice you were given?
Man,
And what is the worst advice you received?
I get a bunch of worse advice. You know what? When you take advices, you got to be careful of taking advice. You want to take advice from somebody that's already there, that made the mistake. It's like me. I hire a company. I don't want to hire a company and he's new at it, because I want him to make mistakes. Because all of us, no matter what, as a business owner, you're always gonna make mistakes, and that's where you learn. And usually you learn better when you make mistakes, because that's what
Mhm.
mistakes are made or there for. Is there for you to learn. Uh, man, you know, most of I get a bunch of bad advice on the probably the worst thing I did with my business was I run advertising. There's a lot of people that say they could get you another 20,000, another 30,000. There's a bunch of people, and I fell for it. And not only I fell once, I fell a bunch of times. I think I lost like 300,000 in like 10 years, because I would never quit. I always wanted to you know to generate more revenue for my company,
Revenue.
and I give everybody a chance. And you know, I end up being like, either, I wouldn't say, you know what, some of them did cheat me, but then some of them, they're not in our industry
Hmm.
to market for me, because a lot of people know marketing. But yeah, okay, you know marketing. Do you know anything about window tint? Do you know anything about PPF? Because you know PPF, when you market PPF, you don't call it PPF, you call it clip bar. That's what the consumer
Clear.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you go market PPF or paint protection film, you're gonna make less money, because you market clip bar, because the consumer know clip bar forever, and it's just never gonna go away. We are transitioning them to learn paint protection film.
Right.
You know, you gotta kind of understand that lingo. So that's the advice I would give somebody. Like, look up, get you somebody to get advices, mentor, whatever, from somebody that is there where you want to be.
Right.
Because you could go get advices from a guy that's just been unsuccessful all his life, or he's not in your industry, and but he'll give you advice, but it might not be the best advice for you, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So the best I get good advices too, because I ask the best advice I ever got was, because I'm really big on math. So, I went to college for mechanical engineering and accounting. I didn't graduate, but I still went there. So I'm really big on math. But I still didn't understand accounting. They teach you, accounting, they teach you how to balance and stuff. So the advice that I got was to look at my numbers. And how do you know your numbers? And what are you going to keep to know your numbers? So that's probably the best advice. And that's what I do all the time.
Look,
You know,
so as far as marketing, do you guys, is it in-house marketing or are you still
no, we
using
sub it out. We sub it out.
sub it out?
Yeah.
And it's you sub it out for, I mean, for the longest time, right? So it's when
We've been doing this company I'm with. You probably see the guys that with me. They're actually my partner in auto film mastery, my training course. Those guys, yeah, I mean, we're gonna go on like almost 3 years.
nice.
But they are the best. Like, I have one video that we made $1 million off of. We
wow.
post that because we track everything because of that video. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do
So
you think gonna happen with our industry, like window film, PPF, in the next 5 years?
so paint protection film, it got a long way to go. The education level in paint protection film is 2 to 5%, and what area you at. It's a big growth. So if you don't know what window tint is, if you go to the mall and ask 500 people what window tint is, 500 people will know it. If you go
Right.
to the mall and ask 500 people what paint protection film is, maybe 20, 30, maybe less,
Yeah.
So it's a big growth. And if you can actually have the mindset that, somebody that buy a Honda Civic, I don't care if they bought a Honda Civic and it's a brand new Honda Civic and they love their car, they're gonna do it,
Yeah.
and you have to kind of understand that the guys that, I mean, some of the guys that love their car more are the one that only cost like 30, 40,000 than the guys that drive, a $500,000 car and he got like 20, 30 cars. That person love it more. They want to preserve it. They want to keep it for, many years, 7, 10 years,
Yeah.
So the industry for paint protection film is gonna explode. For window tint, the window tint industry is exploding already with the infrared technology film. It's just the education level. So we have a new product. It's like, you have window tint, and then you think of window tint, and the technology back then was dye film, then you got metal, then you got carbon, right?
Right.
And it got stuck that way for a long time. Metal film, when it came out, it was like the best thing ever. I think it's the worst film ever because it got a lot of absorption,
Right.
But now you got the ceramic. So everybody that's jumping in the industry for winter tint, you're gonna make a lot of money. Back then, you won't make a lot of money. Back then, you jump in the industry for winter tint. For 69, you do a car for 69 to $99. Now you jump into winter tint right now, you get $500. Where you gonna get that? You can't get that. I mean, that's so easy, and you can tint a car in an hour and a half.
Yeah. And ceramic coating? What do you think gonna happen in ceramic coating?
You know what? That is a complementary product to paint protection film, because we sell it differently. We sell it where it keep your car. It's easier to clean, stay cleaner longer. Ceramic coating, I just think the industry is at war with itself with the ceramic coating. I mean, this is how I always look at it. Without a window tinter, there'll be no such thing as paint protection film. Without ceramic coating, we would never be here, because ceramic coating did a lot of good marketing for ceramic coating, and they did a lot of protect your car. So everybody thinks ceramic coating will stop your car from rock, chip, and scratches, and that's where that's why PPF is so popular, because of ceramic coating. Like, it took PPF to another level. Without the ceramic coater, the ceramic coating company, paint protection film wouldn't be here today. I'll promise you that. It wouldn't be as popular as it is right now, because they did a good job of marketing. But I just feel it's so easy to get into ceramic coating. Is the entry level to get into that is so the barrel of entry is so low. Like, you could start off with nothing. That I just think it'll hurt our industry. I mean, not hurt it. I just think it's gonna be like really competitive, and then plus, there's a lot of coating brand, and the way I see how the manufacturer are, they're just at war with themselves. They're
Right.
at war, with each other, with themselves. And that's how I see it. I mean, we do coating, we believe in ceramic coating. I just wish these guys would actually like get along.
Yeah.
That's the only downfall of the industry, of the ceramic coating industry, is these guys. And it start off with the top. When the top guy, just start I'm better than you, and I got more money than you, or I'm more powerful than you, or whatever. It start going down to the rep, and then it go to the installer, and then it just get out of hand. And right now it's to a point where I don't think you can stop that. I mean, they just gonna go at it until
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I don't
Amazing.
I don't know the ending. I mean, if you ask me how it's gonna look like later, I think you should add it to your business. Marketing wise, ceramic coating, that so guys are heavily marketing ceramic coating, so the lead costs are so much to market ceramic coating that we just stop it. So we market big time on paint protection film because it costs less.
On paint protection film.
Because
Okay.
there's a lot of guys offering. So on Google, you
Yeah.
go onto a bidding war. You know about that, right? Pay-per-click.
Yes. Yes.
So there's guys that are mobile ceramic coating, because the cost of entry, like I told you, to do ceramic coating is cheap. So the
Yeah.
ceramic coating, from our research,
Yeah.
and I'm at a I understand like marketing. Like, I'm not a marketer, but I mean I am and I'm not, but from pay-per-click and everything that we're doing with marketing for ceramic coating, it's so
Yeah.
many guys that market it. It's really sophisticated, because I would never think that somebody that work out their garage or work mobilely would market, ceramic coating, but they did a good job of telling the detailer to market, and they're doing it. And so it got to a point where the lead cost acquisition is so high. I seen it where it's like $66 to over $100 per lead,
Oh,
that
wow.
some guys don't really understand that. You know what I'm saying? And we study this market. We study it like really, really good. And some people don't understand it, because I'm at a lower cost, because you get to put your numbers, like how much you're willing to spend. Like, just say I want to spend $28 per lead. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna show up that much, because the guys that's gonna do 100 something gonna show up first. But some of those guys don't really know their numbers. Like, you're paying 100 something dollar on marketing, and if you're only charging like $800, and I mean, you're spending 15-20% on your marketing. You're never supposed to spend that much.
Right.
If you're paying $100 for a lead, you have to charge like $1,000, whatever. And these guys are only doing detailing and coating, and I see them charging only like $500 or $600 for a coating, and they're paying 100 something. So I'm like, I kind of question that, because do you understand your numbers? Because that you're playing a chase. You're just chasing, like, you're getting this
Yeah.
money and you put it back in. You're getting this money, but you're thinking you're making money. You are making something, because if you're an owner operator, if you're the guy that own a business, the guy that installed a coding, yes, you're making money, but you'll never ever be able to grow, to
Yeah.
have cash flow, to hire people. And that's why we took our money from ceramic coating. We took that. We still put a little bit, very little, but I'll still pay $20-something, and if I don't show first, I don't. But we took that money and put it to paint protection film, and we pay $16 per lead for paint protection film, something that can get us $200 to $8,500 for, you know.
Right. Yeah.
That's worth more, but when you sell the paint protection film, you could sell a coating, so it just work hand in hand, you know. So
Yeah.
when the customer come in and they want a full front, then we'll go ahead and coat. You know, we'll sell them a full front to stop them from rock chip and scratches, and then coat the rest of the car plus the paint protection film plus the wheel and the windshield, and to make it to easy to clean and stay cleaner longer. You know, so that's
Right.
what works for us. But yes, the guys that don't do paint protection film, they kind of have no choice. They have to
Right.
do. They have to pay that, but they're at war with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're at war with each other, from the manufacturer to the rep to the installer and to the marketing. Like that's just that's how I see it. I see it everything from a different view. So when I see that, I'm gonna pick you know, I'll pick a coating that works for my business.
Mhm.
And that's all. And you know, we never mention what coating we use. We just call it MMT because we own Midtown Motor Trend. And everybody say, "Do you make your own coating?" No, I don't make my own coating. MMT stand for the warranty. Like, we stand behind it. Something go wrong, we'll fix it. You know,
Yeah.
because the last thing we want to do is brand a coating. Because if I was to brand, I don't want to mention no brand, but if I mention a brand XYZ,
Uh-huh.
well, if I keep on putting, hey, we use XYZ ceramic coating, and it's the best one, it lasts 5 years, guess what? They're gonna call another company that carry XYZ, and what's the cheapest you can do? And that's why we wanna make sure we brand ourselves with, you know, AFS, MMT, and stuff like that, because you're supposed to believe in us, and us, the installer,
Installation.
instead of the manufacturer, you know. Um,
Right.
because you're supposed to do yourself first, and then if a customer asks you what coating you use, you're supposed to tell them. Like, you're supposed to be honest with them, but you're always supposed to brand yourself first. Make sure you are most important. MMT, we use deionized water. Uh, you know, we prep your car. We use air. I mean, you know, just stuff like that, because you got to make sure you're that important. Like, it's that
Right.
important to wash your car and prep it with INS, clay bar it, and stuff like that, and we give you that whole process. Because if you just say XYZ, and then XYZ is so important, the prep process is not important no more. The company, the installer, like, nobody's important. So you gotta know how to you know
So you're selling on the process itself, on your
yeah,
installation and the process,
yeah,
rather than the product.
on everything, on even paint protection film. It's called AFS paint protection film.
Oh,
On window
okay.
tint, it's called AFS. If you look at it right here, if you look at it, and you know what? If you look at it, AFS window film. But
Eh,
I don't make my own film. But what my recommendation is because my company is different. And you know what? We sell window film. We're really, really good at it. So, you know, when we sell window film, we said you know, we tell the customer we use a special process
mhm.
to install your window film, because, you know, we bottom load that you can roll down your window today. You don't have to wait 2 or 3 days to roll down your window. We protect your door, we protect your dash, and every picture is very important. My company, my guys are not allowed to do video and pictures of cars when we window tint. Well, we always do it like without the door panel, because I see it all the time, like people installing and they don't protect it. That value, I know you could tint a car and you don't have to do that. I totally understand that. But think about a customer that own a car and they see that, they actually pay attention to that, and you threw that away. But when they see my Instagram and my Facebook or my video, and then they see that, they're like, nah, I think AFS is the best company to do window tint. Maybe we're not. I mean, there's guys that do window tint as good as us or better, you know. But the thing is, our professional present is like through the roof, you know, and that's what's more important than anything else.
Presentation is a key.
Yeah, and you got to do it online, from online to professional to uniform, from everything. Like, your website got to look professional, your Instagram got to look professional, your Facebook got to look professional. When they come visit you, everything got to look professional. you know.
Amazing. Yeah. So when someone is starting, our students, a lot of them, they come to school and they starting a business. So they're learning window tint, vinyl wrap, PPF. What do you think? Is it, do you suggest to start with one and kind of move to other, or they can learn all of the trades at once
No,
and
they only can learn one. You have to. So the reason why I'm really highly skilled as an installer is because I didn't do everything at once, but I didn't know that. I just knew I do PPF, and then like 2 years later I got into window tint. I wasn't good at window tint, like I told you. PPF, I wasn't good at PPF. 2006 is when I did PPF. Yeah, because somebody been doing it 2006 don't mean nothing, because if they're trained wrong, it don't mean nothing. If they don't do that many cars, it don't mean nothing. So that don't mean nothing, because I got guys that I train for 3 months that can smoke a guy for 18 years, because he's properly trained. So I did I learned PPF in 2006, and then I picked up window tint in 2008, and I didn't get good at window tint until 2010, 2011. PPF, I didn't get good at PPF. I got better at 2011, but I think I got really, really good in 2014, because that's when I started doing more. I started seeing more cars, different hood, different bumper. That's when I got really, really highly skilled at it, because I was facing challenges every day and I overcome them. It was very hard. I mean, I go to sleep at some night that I couldn't go to sleep because I'm thinking about that car that just kicked my butt.
right.
But if the first thing everybody should learn, and a lot of people are not going to take my advice on this, but I highly recommend to learn window tint first, and then after you learn window tint, learn PPF. And the reason why I say to learn window tint first, window tint is the hardest thing to learn, but it's easy to do after you learn it. PPF is so easy to learn, but it's hard to do. The reason why you should learn window tint is because you can learn PPF real easily if you learn window tint first. It's rare that I see a guy that do PPF and I can take him to go do tint. He just won't have it. Like everything that he learned, he's closed-minded already. But a window tinter, they'll learn PPF because you're a film, you're very careful with film, with window film, because once you crease it, you throw it away,
It's done.
like
Yeah.
you got to know how to hold the film and everything else. You use the wet technique to install it. I mean,
Yes.
wet solution.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing you use. You just put different soap in it. So you got that squeegee. You already got the squeegee skill. You learn that. But the hardest skill to learn is the knife skill, and you learn that in window tint when you're hand cutting. I don't know about nowadays, but back then we hand cut, so our
Right.
knife skill is really, really good, because we cut some cars like an Audi. You got cut real right there at the dark matrix, and
Right.
and you got cut really, really good, and so you got your knife skill. So when you transition to PPF, it's a lot easier because you got those skills already. You already got the squeegee. You're using the same squeegee.
Yes.
You already got the squeegee. You already got the wet solution. And then the film, you're even more careful because you're holding the film like real careful because you're used to it.
Yeah.
Then you got the knife skill. The only skill you got to learn next, you only got to learn one skill. So that's the stretching skill. You stretch with
Right.
the body line and tack. That's it. That you don't learn anything else. Vinyl guys are a lot easier to teach too, but window tint, you should learn that first. And stick with it for about a year. Man, I'll say the year at the least to 2 years, and then go to a PPF. But you shouldn't learn it. You shouldn't learn it the other way, because
Yeah.
it should always be that first. And then vinyl. Vinyl. I'll put it like this: if you know how to do vinyl, and you know how to vinyl and tint, it's the marriage of PPF. If you know how to do vinyl and you know how to do tint, you got PPF already.
You got PPF. It's
Yeah,
done.
yeah, you do.
Do you train your installers or
We train in-house, so we hire.
in-house?
Yeah, we no longer hire somebody with experience. We
And
train them, and they go through 3 months of training. Sometimes it's less than that. But we train them in-house. This industry, everybody in this industry said they can't find window tinter or PPF installer. But that's the problem with this industry. They're looking for a PPF and a window tinter, and and that's why their company will always be like rocky and shaky, you know. But what you should hire is a hard worker. A hard worker will work hard no matter what you do to them. So you hire somebody that cut grass, somebody that lay bricks, somebody that's a busboy. Those guys are working at a very low minimum wage because that industry cannot pay that much, you know. And you take them and you put them in a skill set, a better skill set, especially somebody that cut grass. You put them in the AC climate control area. They're working on cars that they like to work on. You don't go brag. You don't go home and go brag to your mom. Hey, mom, I just cut this grass. You know, I cut this grass, but you'll go and take pictures of the car you work on, and you're happy every day. You know, but that's what I tell everybody in this industry. I can't, when they say I can't find a window tinter or a PPF installer, I said, that's your problem. You're looking for a window tinter and a PPF installer. Look for a hard worker.
Right.
You get a hard worker no matter what. You know, I'm an immigrant. I know nothing but to work hard. You know, like I don't know how to not work hard because I built a lifestyle off of work because every day I'm always like, you know, goals are always met. Every day I wake up in the morning, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that. We got to do list, and we always getting it. You know, just to see the success of my guys, you know, buying new cars, new little toys and stuff like that. I'm happy. And then you know, it got to a point where like they don't need me no more. Like I could go for a 2 weeks vacation because when that's when the passion comes, because everything that you work hard for, it eventually will reward you, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, just look for a hard worker. A hard worker is gonna work hard. I tell everybody that, but nobody want to do that. They just want to put somebody that have experience onto a car and then have issue with that guys, because you know the window tint industry is still operating in the 80s, 90s. If you ever see the PPF guys, they're, you know, most PPF guys only got 3-5 years experience, right? But they're dressed nice, they drive new cars, they're doing all this. The window tint industry, their car about to break down, you give them $1,000, $2,000 on Monday, they borrowing $20. You know, the window tint industry is fading out. So the new installer are making really, really good money because the old installer are still in the 80s, 90s. They're still operating with, you know, metal film and stuff like that. But then, and then you got the new installer, man, they're installing a bunch more ceramic. They're dressing more professional. They're driving newer cars and stuff like that. So that's why it's kind of hard to get somebody that have, you know, like 10, 15 years experience in window tint. It just don't make sense. Like they're going to do nothing but cause problem for you. That's all, you know?
And do you have separate installers for a window tint and PPF?
Yeah, you have to bring in as a business owner, you have to bring in enough business to keep them busy, because the last thing you want a guy to do is do PPF and tint on a car, because most of the time they don't master it, you know. And I don't want that for my company. Yes, I know how to do all that, but look at what I went through to learn how to do all that. You know, like I failed so many times that I'll overcome each failure and learn from it. But I don't want my guys to go through that. I want them to like be good at something, be a master at it, and that's what I want. And they do a good job, and that's their only job. I don't want them to like, oh man, I gotta tint this car, I gotta do this. You know, that they shouldn't. You should have enough work for that one guy, because keeping them versatile, and to do like 2 or 3 different services. I mean, sometimes you could do it, you know, but I don't recommend it. I think as a business owner, you should keep them busy. If you hire a tinter, get enough business to keep them busy. You hire a PPF installer, get enough business to keep them busy.
So
if not, you could just sub it out. You know, if you're not doing that, like if you're doing vinyl wrap and you only get like 3 a month, just sub it out to somebody, because you always make that guy powerful. Guess what? If you take that guy that know how to do window tint and vinyl wrap, and you get a vinyl wrap, just say you get like 6 a month, and you got a vinyl wrap and you put them on that, you know how less powerful, less profitable you are as a business? because he could make you more money doing window tint. But now he got to be stuck doing this because you don't know how to say no, or don't know how to sub it out or whatever, or keep the vinyl department busy that you could hire a vinyl guy. You get them to do that. That this don't make sense. Like, why would I want my PPF installer to do vinyl? So I got my vinyl guy that we taught vinyl, and then they went to PPF and they just stay there. And sometimes they help out. If there's nothing to do, they help out. But I do not want them to get off that project that's gonna make me $8,500 to go do a project for $3,500, $2,500. And and vinyl wrap take longer. It take 3 to 5 days. You could do a Tesla in 1 day. But vinyl, well, a Tesla and vinyl, you could do that too. But I'm just saying other cars that you have to take apart.
And PPF on a Tesla, you guys can do it in a day?
Yeah. I mean, but we do so many.
Yeah.
Like I tell everybody, you'll never master PPF. You'll never master it, but you'll master the technique to do PPF. So you'll master your knife skill, your squeegee skill, stuff like that. And you master that. And the reason why you'll never master PPF, as long as they make new cars and new hoods, like truck coming out with crazy hood, you always will keep on learning. But as long as you master the technique of stretching the film, using your slip tack solution, your squeegee, your knife skill, I mean, just all those, your experience and everything else, you mastered that. But we mastered Tesla because we've done so many. Like I'll tell you, you'll never master PPF. So if you tell me have you mastered a Corvette C8, yeah, I'll master that because we've done so many. You master a Tesla, yeah, we've done so many. But if you tell me, just say that new Mercedes that just came out, I've never done that car, so I'll learn on it, But then I've mastered the technique to make sure, hopefully I can, I don't run into any issue with it. And most of the time we don't, but there are times that we run into some issue where we said, shit, we have to stretch this, we did it the wrong way, let's do it this way. But we throw away $200 worth of film, maybe 300, So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with window tint. You'll never master window tint, but you master the technique to do it. Well, you master a Tesla, yeah, you master shrinking. If you've done a lot of Model 3 back glass or Model X windshield, and you've done so many, yes, you master that, But when that Model X windshield came, it took me 7 hours to do it, and I didn't do a good job. So now we do a good job because I've done so many, and that's
so many.
Yeah. So that's how. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna do that. That's why you should never give up, because you'll just be better. You'll be better. Next car, you'll be better. You keep on learning from it. And then now that's why you see us do a Tesla in 1 day, because we already know our step 1, 2, 3, because we're very efficient. We do top to bottom. We do the hard part first, one piece trunk. We try not to do the easy stuff. The easy stuff is so easy. We try to do the hard part. There's pieces that we have to do that take 2 people, like the trunk. Like just to be efficient at installing it. And that's why we done it, because our process make us do it. Make sure you have your pouch next to you, make sure you use a tank. You have to do all that to speed up. So if I didn't have all that, yes, it wouldn't take me a day, but we have our efficiency, our process, our equipment, our tools that we know how to use efficiently.
So knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you started a business?
Yes. So that if I was to go back in time, I would have mastered the sales process. I didn't know how to master my sales process. I didn't know how to talk to customer. Or what I knew how to do? I knew how to clean the toilet. I know how to mop the floor. I know how to take out the trash. I know how to install. I know how to vacuum. But I didn't know how to master my sales process.
How did you do it? How did you master your sales process?
I had no choice. I hire people and I just start talking to customer. I just learned on my own, talking to customer. Some stuff didn't work, and I was like, why this customer didn't buy this? So I did that. Making visual display, for your board, like a heat lamp. A heat lamp. I don't think you should sell window tint if you don't have a heat lamp in your shop. Because how can you sell somebody $500? You got to show to them, like, people got to feel it. You got a visual display, a paint protection film. You got to give them a hood so they can scratch. Ceramic coating, you got to give them, a hood that looks shiny, that looks slick. So And then, knowing how to talk to customer. Because before I used to, they'll be like, hey, I want my Honda Accord tinted. How much? 125. That's all. I didn't get the name. I'll be like, now I'll be like, what's your name and number, just in case we get hang up, and because I want to keep it for my follow-up. They'll tell me they got a Honda Accord, but they don't tell me what year. I don't need to know what year, but I still want to show interest in the car. I'll be like, what
Yeah.
year is it? Or they gave me a Corvette. I'll be like, hey, what color you got? They tell me blue, but I'm master C8 Corvette. I never lost one because we mastered, because I study it. So when they tell me they got a blue one, there's 3 blue color. 2 of the blue color look the same, but you got the lake blue, the lighter blue, the darker blue, the metallic blue. And to know all that, the customer, to know that and to show interest in the car, and to know sometime more about their car than the owner do, because I'll tell them you have to have a track pack. Look, if you had a C7 Corvette, I'll tell you don't have to have it, but I still recommend it. But you got a mid-engine car, all that debris and everything will go back there, and you're gonna get rock chip. You're gonna be real mad if you get paint protection film from me, full front, and I didn't sell you the track pack. I just gotta let you know that, because all that gonna get rock chip. And I know you love this car. I know you waited many years for your car and you overpaid for it, and that's how we sell it now. But I didn't know how to do that back then. I was very uncomfortable talking to clients. So I wish I would have done that, because every car that came by, if you master sales, every car that came by, I would have made more money on every car. Like I told you, I sell a car wash for 14, right?
Yes.
And we have an add-on where you could clean the inside for an extra 10. That's all. That's all I could get from you. And then you might have a wax, but I never sell you a wax. Now we have a system that keep up with a 6-month coating and stuff like that, because we sell a 6-month coating. It keep up, and when the car comes, we'd be like, hey John, last time you got your car ceramic, the 6-month ceramic coating was in January. It's been past 6 months. You need to do that right now. Oh, I didn't know that. Let's do it. I didn't master all that. I didn't care. It was like the customer, I give him a menu. I give him a menu. Here, what you want? And then he tell me, okay, give me this one. And that's all I knew. I didn't know how to educate him. I didn't know how to, I built value. I didn't know none of that stuff. And I wish I would have learned that back then, because that car that came in for 14, he might have spent 200 with me to vacuum, to shampoo his car, stuff like that. The window tint, I could have had different, structure of window tint. I could have sell something different. Same thing with paint protection film. Everything I had could have made more money. You didn't have to have more cars. Everybody think you have to have more cars, more volume to make more money. You don't, because if you master your sales process, you can make the same, more than that. One car can get you, like nowadays, one car can get you 10 to 14,000, if you can add everything properly. The wheel off for ceramic coating. Like if somebody came in and they got a Mercedes GT, I'll be like, hey, you got ceramic brake on your car. You want to do the wheel off, is an extra $400 to $600. We'll take off the wheel. We're gonna clean the bell. We're gonna coat it. We're gonna clean the caliper. We're gonna coat it. It lasts 2 years, and I highly recommend it, because it's gonna stay dirty. Or every time you come over here, you're gonna ask us to clean it, and you're gonna be real mad because we can't get back there. We're gonna we're gonna do our best to clean it, but it's not gonna be at that good as you if you protect it today. And they get it. So that car now, I got extra $400-600 on ceramic.
Amazing, yeah. So the sales process, mastering the sales process is the key.
Yeah, the sales part of the business will solve all your problems. It will. The guys won't leave. You keep the guys busy. They make money. You can add another guy. And then another thing is you have enough money to do marketing. So you keep on funding that. So, and that's the key to it. And you never know that, because when I started, it was like, I want to be the best installer. I want to shave the window. I want to file the tint. I want to remove this and that to do PPF so it looked good. That's all I knew. I just I want to be the best installer in the world. I'm going to compete here. I'm going to go compete there. I'm going to do all that. That's all I was thinking, because I was like, man, I'm the best installer. The best installer don't make more money. They don't do nothing. You could be the best, the best owner installer in the world. It don't do nothing for you. What can it do for you? It don't make you any more money, because how do you let everybody know that you do that? You know,
Yeah.
your sales process, you got to know how to explain that. You know?
Sell it. Yeah. To have
Yeah.
a
I mean,
market.
we don't. My company don't believe in sales. But we are selling, but we educate.
Mhm,
We educate, and that's how we sell. But we educate. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. Through
And that's the
yeah.
thing. Because if you ever want to dominate your city, you got to be the educator. If you keep on
Mhm,
educating, you keep on educating, online and present, on in person. All you do is educate. You cannot lose. You know, think about it. You educating a consumer, you're the professional. They don't know it. They might read something online that this film is the best, and it might not be the best, because I sell that all day. You know, I sell my brand. I'll be like, don't worry about PPF. All PPF are 8 mil, 10-year warranty, self-healing. All of them.
mhm,
If you told me many years ago that it's not, worry about the installer. Worry about if we got a climate control, we got filter in our shop, we got tanks, we got lifts. Worry about that. See the facility. You just want to put your car anywhere. Your car is safe here. We got garage keeper insurance. Worry about that. A garage keeper insurance. If something happens, somebody steal your car, my insurance pay for it. You know, I mean, think about that. And my guys are highly trained in it. I mean, you know, we produce video where we show you we're highly trained.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's awesome, Mike. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Where our viewers can find you?
Instagram is our Mao Pod Station. It's MAO Pod POD Station STATION. That's the Instagram. I'm always on it. You'll see my stories. I'm always showing stories about installation or what my team are working on. You know, different stuff. I'm always educating on there on my stories too. So that they can find me there.
All right. That's awesome, Mike. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.